I want you all to picture yourselves as this: a mopey, troubled, introverted teenage crybaby who needs to find the girl who will fix him. That would be me for, admittedly, most of my early high school life. I grew up convinced that I needed to find the one, the girl who's not like other girls. I knew that all I needed was her. My soulmate, who I did not even know yet, I knew would fix me. She'd fix me, right? She'd have to. For decades, we've told stories of people falling in and out, fighting for and doing pretty much anything for love. And likely within those many years, certain tropes begin to arise in our depiction of romance and fantasy. Most prominently, the trope that created this idea of the one being what's known as the Manic Pixie Dream Girl. Some examples of Manic Pixie Dream Girls are Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Clementine from Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Sam from Garden State, and Summer from 500 Days of Summer. To describe the Manic Pixie Dream Girl, she is quirky, she's different, she's not like other girls from the way she dresses, the way she does her hair. She even likes the same bizarro niche crap that you do. She even listens to the Smiths.
Smith. I love the Smiths.
Sorry?
I said I love the Smiths. You've produced music.
Like the Smiths.
Yeah. To die by your side is such a heavenly way to die. I love them.
Holy shit.
The Manic Pixie Dream Girl archetype is defined by two things. One, she is eccentric, attractive, offbeat, and above all, not like other girls. And two, she is an extremely underwritten character whose purpose is to serve the male protagonist a cathartic life lesson, to act as a savior of sorts. The Manic Pixie Dream Girl perpetuates the idea that women are tools, that women are objects, tools to be used by men. It's important for us to know that this trope was created by men, for men. Nathan Rabin was the film critic who coined the term the Manic Pixie Dream Girl in his 2007 review of Elizabeth. He described the Manic Pixie Dream Girls as female characters who, quote, exist solely in the fevered imaginations of sensitive writer-directors to teach broodingly soulful young men to embrace life in its infinite mysteries and endeavors. You have to admit that some problems may arise when men write these stories about girls being girls. Although many writer-directors may not necessarily want to create or perpetuate harmful stereotypes, if we aren't careful, we can fall victim to our own biases, and we may not even know, without even realizing it, and we may not even know that they're there. These successful films featuring the Manic Pixie Dream Girls leave many female viewers to believe that what they see on screen is what will make them desirable. For example, if they may try to adopt the physical traits like trying to dress more exotically or changing their style of hair or color, or more dangerously, they may try to adopt some of their belief systems and their views of themselves, which is way more dangerous. Oops, sorry. Oh, sorry. Because of the change of views of themselves, they would expect themselves to only display joy, whimsy, and just that sort of bubbliness. They would expect themselves to be like the sole inspiration for their partner and the source of excitement. They would expect themselves to be mere caricatures of a human with heavier beliefs on their shoulders than any of us can ever healthily carry on our own. Many of the traits that are associated with the Manic Pixie Dream Girl are also those that are associated with neurodivergence. I'm going to be using that term as sort of like an umbrella for other conditions such as autism, EPD, and ADHD. Initially, Many neurodivergent women, at least in some ways, can sort of see themselves as these characters portrayed in the film. They can find some of their behaviors to be relatable and even comforting. But does this trope finally offer neurodivergent women a proper sense of representation that they so desperately lack, especially in today's media? The answer to that question is no. Absolutely not. Because of this relation between the Manic Pixie Dream Girl and real neurodivergent women, it leaves some of the real women to be seen as a real-life Manic Pixie Dream Girl. This is what's called fetishization, and it's the idea of having an irrational, excessive obsession with a particular type of person in a sexual manner. Fetishization now leaves these real Manic Pixie Dream Girls to be sought after by men, which I mean makes sense. Men who watch these movies want that same eccentric, magical pretty girl to just kind of come into their life and fix all their problems, because it's easy. We don't want to hold on to our problems, and we'd rather put it on someone else because we just don't want to deal with it ourselves. Neurodivergent women are also reported to have disproportionately higher rates of sexual assaults and sexual violence compared to non-neurodivergent women. Although this trope may not be the primary cause of these high rates, it certainly is a contributing factor that we need to acknowledge. We should hold men accountable, and the main criticisms I have of this trope are for the man in these relationships and not the girl. It's not a problem that these girls are unique and are able to tell captivating stories about themselves, but it is a problem that they are only defined by a man's journey instead of their own. In order to hold men accountable, we must look at not just why they get into these relationships on screen, but also what they do while they're in them. Let's take the scene from 500 Days of Summer, for example. In this scene, our male protagonist, Tom, is sitting down with Summer, who is sort of questioning the status of their relationship. Summer believes that they've sort of become like an old married couple. They've started to argue and bicker even over the smallest things, just constantly. But Tom, he is very delusional. He doesn't see that any of those arguments are actual arguments, but he rather sees them as just mere disagreements rather than anything actually big. It's clear that Summer in this situation is not happy with the way things are going, and Tom is given the chance to talk to her and to understand what's going on, but he refuses to do that. He does not want to ruin the fairy tale image he has of her in his head. To Tom, Summer is like the only fish in the sea for him, but he doesn't actually do anything to reel her in. Because he lacks the emotional maturity in the situation, and instead of trying to talk to her, he just decides to get up and leave. Some of us are wise enough to recognize this immature toxic behavior, but many impressionable young men interpret these actions as normal. It becomes normalized to them. I myself was one of them. Younger me didn't accept or even really see any of the opportunities that I was given to grow, which I was basically just like Tom in the situation. Looking back, I felt like there was nothing wrong with me, but there was something wrong with the world. Instead of listening, communicating, and being adaptable, I shut down whenever my expectations didn't meet reality. I wanted more than anything to find my Manic Pixie Dream Girl. I wanted that fairy tale romance without ever actually doing anything to deserve it. Many of the issues and struggles from that time, for me, stemmed from that mindset. And although it caused me many problems, I ultimately learned to take a second look at the world around me. We need to understand that fiction creates real life. And that's not just the films, but it's the books we read, it's the posts that we see online can alter our perceptions of reality, our perceptions of real men and real women. Please be careful. Thank you.